Washington respectfully acknowledges that it is located on the First Peoples traditional lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding to those who walk this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibility to work together in the spirit of the intent of the treaties with all the First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. With that, we will call our regular council meeting for May 20th, 2025 to order. First item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Council, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a small correction. On page 40 of 60, third paragraph down, it says Bill Thompson Arena, and it should be Thompson without a P. And I know that's a small thing, but to the family, it's a big thing. So just the correct spelling of Thompson. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Council, is there anything else for the agenda? Administration, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
Thank you, CEO Panasic. Council will look for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councilor Hawes.
I think you'd like to move to adopt the agenda as presented, please.
Thank you, Councilor Hawes. Council, the motion on the floor is that council adopt the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Councilor Chambers, do you have discussion? Okay, seeing nothing, as soon as that's up, we'll call the question. And we will call the question, council adopt the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. That will take us to section 3 of the agenda this evening. Council minutes for adoption. Councilors? Councilor Chambers.
I'd like to move that we accept the regular council meeting minutes of May 6, 2025, the special council meeting minutes of May 13th, 2025, and the committee of the whole meeting of May 13th, 2025 as presented.
Thank you, Councilor Chambers. Council, the motion on the floor is that council adopt the meeting minutes from the regular council meeting May 6th, 2025, the special council meeting May 13th, 2025, and the committee of the whole meeting May 13th, 2025. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. That will take us to section 4 of the agenda this evening, citizens minute with council. Secretary, are there any citizens signed up for minute with council today?
No, there's none.
Thank you, Secretary. That will take us to section 5 of the agenda, presentations. We have item 5.1, the Hinton Youth Advisory Council presentation. We have our Hinton Youth Advisory Council presenters. Come forward, please.
Hey Council, thanks for having us today. Introducing, we are the Hinton Youth Center, and our counselors are Councilor Emily,
Councilor Abigail,
Councilor Annika,
Councilor Hayden,
Councilor Finn,
Councilor Hero,
Councilor Sterling,
and Councilor Maddie.
Activities that we did this year were the Mental Health Based Project, recommended highway silhouette designs, gingerbread brainstorming, many committee and fun debates, exercises and lessons in Robert's Rules, listened to many guest speakers, community engagement, and decided on our swag.
We had a project this year and we decided on wellness kits, which they help provide wellness encouraging care packages to the youth in our community to help the youth during wildfire season, as it's highly stressful, to promote mental health at challenging times. The budget we got was $1,500 from the set IAF budget. We spent roughly $302 on mental health handouts, $316 on supplies, $750 on bags, which gave us a total of $1,369. The kits each were roughly $18, and then the bags and handouts were sourced locally.
Our guest speakers that we had this year were Trent McLaughlin from the Development and Infrastructure Services, Jasmine and Marilyn from Mountains Edge Culture and Arts, Glenn and Steen from Hinton Mountain Biking Association, Kathy from Toastmakers, and Deanna Cedarstrand from Full Circle Hinton.
Some of the volunteer work our counselors have done was volunteer at the swim meet, school volleyball tournament, figure skating, the dance studio, prom committee, New Heights Fitness, and the food bank.
Our debates and meeting procedures were: should we bring back extinct animals? Our swag debate, the Hinton mascot debate, the silhouette debates, our project idea, and our procedures were to follow Robert's rules, and we have alternating chair and minute takers.
This is our year in pictures. What questions do you guys have?
Council? Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I want to say how impressive it is that you broke down the cost of that kit. You were given money and now we know exactly where you spent that money, and I think that's great. Another thing is, and I don't mean to catch you off guard, being on the Hinton Youth Advisory Council, how has that impacted you personally?
Okay. Well, it impacted me because I moved from Jasper this year and I like being a part of like a community. And so it made me feel like more welcome in the town of Hinton, and it helped me find my voice because I'm normally a quiet person, but now I can speak out more.
It helped me because before this, I did not know anything about like how politics work, and I was always curious. And now it's like I can like help run a meeting, and it's like a helpful skill, I'd say.
Excellent.
I do have one follow-up.
Go ahead, Councilor Race.
Well, actually, a follow-up and a comment. I get to see you guys every month. I get to see you run meetings. I get to see you acknowledged by the chair, how you put your hand up. I would bet money that you guys could walk into a meeting right now and run it. Truly, that's how good you are. My other question is the theme that you're going for this year. It seems to be a theme that you've done before in the past. Have you seen where it is effective?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we have. Raising more mental awareness it helps like certain people who aren't aware about it be more aware about it, and we've seen changes like how I know somebody who's actually, I told them about it and they're like, wow, that's really helpful, that would really help me and all that. So yes, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for everything you do and how committed you are every month to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What was your best part? What did you enjoy best this year?
I really liked the active like ones we did, like the because we did brainstorming project. We came up with ideas while like hands-on projects, and I really enjoyed that.
I'd say the same. The gingerbread part where we brainstormed ideas while going and baking actual gingerbread man. That was
Thank you, Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Haas.
I'm just curious on the results of the Hinton mascot debate. What was,
We settled on a cougar
okay.
because there's a lot around the town.
Mhm.
yeah, there's like the best.
I think it was
Okay.
that or chipmunk.
A
Oh yeah,
chipmunk.
the chipmunk.
Okay. So was the debate to change the mascot to Hinton from the Athacat to a cougar?
Yeah, something like that.
Interesting. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Now, a question from myself. Would you recommend this to any of the teenagers at home watching this council meeting right now?
I would,
100%.
yes.
Excellent. Glad to hear you've had a lot of fun this year, and everything I've seen from the youth council has been fantastic. Council, do we have anything further for our presenters today? Councilor Magoon.
Just one thing, and I try to say it to our youth council when they come to visit. This is something that you can easily take with you if you decide to pursue post-secondary, whether it be a trade school, whether it be a university or a college, because you can go to those schools, get involved with your student government. And honestly, that's a great way to meet people, but also it's really good for getting experience and padding the resume. And it looks like you're involved in your community. So if you've already got a sample of that here, it's something that you should think about pursuing once you get there.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. And thank you to our presenters.
Okay. We would like to thank administration for allowing us to have this opportunity and helping us guide during our meetings and doing behind the scenes work to help us succeed. Thank you, Councillor Ostashek and Councillor Rates, for your mentorship. And thank you, Council, for having us and giving us the amazing opportunity.
Thank you very much.
This is everywhere that can be found, like in the community and online.
Oh, that's excellent. So for any youth watching, they're on Facebook, Instagram, and on the web. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that will take us to section 6 of the agenda this evening, action items, and item 6.1, appointment of plebiscite returning officer. CO Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. So in accordance with the Local Authorities Election Act, as well as the Municipal Government Act, we are required to appoint returning officers for a plebiscite process. So we are recommending that council appoints Charlene McDougall as the returning officer for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election.
Thank you, CO Panasic. Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take the recommended action and move that council appoints Charlene McDougall as the returning officer for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Council, the motion on the floor is that council appoints Charlene McDougall as the returning officer for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election. Any discussion? Councilor Haas.
I guess just a quick question about the duties of, we've never done a plebiscite before. What's the duties of a returning officer for a plebiscite?
Thank you, Mayor. Through the rest of council, I'll look to Alicia if there's anything that I've missed, but the returning officer it's many of the same processes that you go through for an election. So you still need ballots, you still need to go through those same procedures, and somebody needs to be responsible for that process through the legislation. So there is some administrative work and some processes that need to be upheld by somebody qualified to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, CO Panasic. Thank you, Councilor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is that council appoints Charlene McDougall as the returning officer for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election. Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.1 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.2, appointment of plebiscite substitute returning officers. CO Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. We are recommending that council appoint Alicia Bourbeau and Fuchsia Dragon as the substitute returning officer for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election.
Thank you, CO Panasic. Councilor Stashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the recommended action that council appoints Alicia Bourbeau and Fuchsia Dragon as the substitute returning officers for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Stashik. Council, the motion on the floor is the council appoints Alicia Bourbeau and Fuchsia Dragon as the substitute returning officers for the plebiscite in conjunction with the 2025 Town of Hinton general municipal election. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.2 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.3, borrowing bylaw number 2020. CO Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. I will refer this one to Ms. Bourbeau.
Ms. Bourbeau.
Good afternoon, Council. Administration is before you today seeking second and third reading on borrowing bylaw number 2020. It has been, the notice of the borrowing has been advertised in the local print newspaper editions April 24th and May 1st as legislatively required, 2 full weeks of advertising. And as of May 15th, there has been no petition received by our CAO. So the next step in this process would be to seek second and third readings. And then we are essentially paused again until June 19th after we're certain that there has been no filings in the Court of King's Bench on this matter.
Thank you, Ms. Borbeau. Council? Councillor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council gives second reading to the borrowing bylaw number 2020. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Race. Council, the motion on the floor is that council gives second reading to borrowing bylaw number 2020. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried 5-1 with Councillor Magoon voting against. Councillor Chambers.
I'd like to motion that council gives third reading to bylaw number 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Chambers. Council, the motion on the floor is that council gives third reading to borrowing bylaw number 2020. Any discussion? Seeing, Councillor Haas.
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to, you said we have to wait until June 19th, did you say, after this, if passed, to wait till if there's anything at Queen's Court's bench, is that correct?
Ms. Borbeau?
Through to all of council, that is correct, yes.
So that will, no work will commence, I'm guessing, until after that date, correct?
Ms. Borbeau?
I won't comment on the work because there's been a lot of groundwork and the RFP has gone out for meters, but
Right.
we will be unable to proceed with putting in our application for the borrowing until we're certain that there has been nothing filed with the Court of King's Bench.
Okay, I understand. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Borbeau. Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is that council gives third reading to borrowing bylaw number 2020. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. And that motion is carried 5-1 with Councillor Magoon voting against. Council, is there anything further for item 6.3 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.4, Regional Tuition Assistance Program. And this looks like it's going to Director Russo.
Good evening, Council. What you have before you tonight is a regional tuition assistance bursary program, an allocation of $10,000 that has been earmarked for the town of Hinton. A little bit of history on this. The town of Drayton Valley, in conjunction with the University of Alberta, back in 2019, has embarked upon seeking to use education as a lever for economic development, as well as spurring on letting students at grade 12 to help them to go towards post-secondary. Just a little background. At that time, when Frank Maddock was the only high school, or one of the two high schools we have there, 17% of the graduates at that time would be proceeding to postgraduate studies. So that's a pretty low number when you compare that to Australia and New Zealand and other developed countries. So the town of Drayton Valley embarked upon a model that is well known in Invercargill down south in New Zealand, where they have a zero fee scheme. And they started back in 1990. So similar like Drayton Valley, they also had a dip in the economy. That means dairy farming is huge down there. They had a gold rush that was supposed to happen, never happened. So the town of Invercargill was about to go sideways, so to speak. They then brought zero fee into the SIT, which is the post-secondary education unit there. And then they started zero fee with much support from businesses. So what Drayton Valley did, they took a snippet of that and sought to get education going through sponsoring tuition fee for residents of Drayton Valley. They've had good progress to the point that they've put about 40 healthcare students since that time through the program. They've got the CET Center in Drayton that is housed and used for training purposes. They also then, from that point, got an association and an agreement with the University of Alberta to further explore and research zero fee in a Canadian context. So emanating from that, they got about $100,000 that they wanted to split and share with communities of similar struggles and opportunities. So the town of Hinton was selected for that 10,000. So what you have before you tonight is basically the monies would become available. It's already with the University of Alberta and their partners, and they want to start distributing it so that students aspiring to get going for September can know that they are in line for a bursary support. So we need to enter into if council is amenable to this tonight, to enter into a memorandum of understanding. And basically what the memorandum of understanding is, it's a non-binding understanding of the commitment that we are making, meaning that if no students take the bursary, you're not committed to anything but to give the money back when it comes. What is in it for the town? Of course, we could have deserving students, add to an existing bursary, or those that are contemplating going who do not have the funding. This may be the opportunity to kickstart their career or their journey into post-secondary education. If there's a default, once they've registered and gotten the money, the town of Drayton Valley will administer all of that. What is the town's role in this? We are seeking simply to be a facilitator and to ensure that Hintonites benefit from this. So at this point, we'd be open to take any questions.
Council? Councilor Magoon?
I didn't know maybe it's just me. This is just one of those things that seems like a really great idea. Benefits the students. Is there anything that we're not seeing from the report that we should be aware of? I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Almost like one of those too good to be true things, but that's in this place, I'll just take it as it is.
Yeah, through to the chair to Councillor Magoon. We've turned every stone to date. There's a toolkit provided by the town of Drayton Valley that basically outlined all the concerns that we have already as administration had. We are still going through a few final aspects in terms of what is the administrative burden for the town of Hinton to go through. Is there any compensation for us in that regard, a certain percentage of this where there likely would be? So at this point, it sounds good, and it is good, because the money is in the bank and the town of Hinton has been asked to participate.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Councilor Race?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So who here would oversee this? Who in admin would oversee it?
Yeah. At this point, it lies with the strategic team, since we've been working with the town of Drayton Valley for several months now on various initiatives. So dependence on how heavy that becomes the administrative burden, we will have to, of course, take that through to the CEO. We don't believe at this point that it'll be anything that will burden other departments at this point in time, because the intake is going to be before August, September this year. And Drayton Valley is doing the bulk of the legwork. We're simply facilitating it. So the facilitation basically would mean we'd participate in the social media side. So we'd have our comms people participate. We'll basically get the intake go directly to Drayton Valley. They will do an evaluation. So it's basically an unbiased sort of selection of students. And then we, as the town of Hinton, will know who the selection is, what the amount is. So it says up to 5,000 per student. It could be 2,000 for 5 students, or it could be 2 students at 5,000. It depends, but we will know that. And we could inform council about that, what the uptick was at the time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Councilor Magoon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm prepared to take the recommended action. I'd like to move the council direct administration to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the town of Drayton Valley for the administration and delivery of the Regional Tuition Assistance Bursary Program as discussed. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Council, the motion on the floor is that council direct administration to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the town of Drayton Valley for the administration and delivery of the Regional Tuition Assistance Bursary Program as discussed. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. Councilor Ostashik?
I got booted from the online voting. I'm in favor, though.
Councilor Ostashik in favor. And that motion is carried unanimously. Council, is there anything further for item 6.4 on the agenda this evening? I'll say thank you to our Strategic Services Department. That will take us to item 6.5 on the agenda, one-off financial request, Hinton Minor Hockey Association. This looks like it's going back to Director Bourbeau.
Thank you very much, Council. We have received a request for support. There is Hinton Minor Hockey is looking to have preseason games between the Edmonton Oil Kings and the Prince George Cougars early September 2025. So before our hockey season gets underway. They also have a number of community events planned and wanting to ensure that there's a lot of involvement. They have a number of different things planned. The request that they're looking for from the town of Hinton would be ice time rental and some room rental. The total of their requests comes to $2,299.50. And we're here for any questions and looking to see if this is an initiative council wishes to support.
Thank you, Director Barbeau. Council? Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council approves the in-kind donation of $2,299.50 for ice time and the meeting room space, plus parking lot space to support the Hinton Minor Hockey Association in combination with the Western Hockey League to host 2 preseason hockey games, September 5th and 7th, 2025. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to share our community, to showcase our community, and I am in full support of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Race. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approves the in-kind donation of $2,299.50 for ice time and meeting room space plus parking lot space to support the Hinton Minor Hockey Association in combination with the Western Hockey League to host 2 preseason hockey games, September 5th to 7th, 2025. Councilor Chambers.
Thank you. I will be in support of the motion as it's presented. I think this is wonderful. And I was contacted by some community members today who certainly supported this as well. Happy to see this initiative coming to the community and hoping that council was to move ahead supporting it with the potential that hoping more things like this would come across our plate, working with the chamber, DMO and different groups. So certainly the community seems to be excited to see this on the agenda and supports it. So I'll be happy to support it as well.
Thank you, Councilor Chambers. Councilor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, or sorry, Mr. Mayor. Just verification from administration. This is only requesting deferral of fees that the charge would charge for facility rental, correct? They're not asking for any actual cash contribution.
Director Bourbeau.
Thank you, Councillor Ostashik. That is correct. So when we created the request for decision, we're bringing to you what essentially our cost is to give them the room and the ice, and we put that under the council contingency budget.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Councilor Ostashik. Thank you, Director Bourbeau. Council, the motion on the floor is the council approves the in-kind donation of $2,299.50 for the ice time and meeting room space plus parking lot space to support the Hinton Minor Hockey Association in combination with the Western Hockey League to host 2 preseason hockey games, September 5th to 7th, 2025. Is there any further discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councilors, please vote now. And that motion is carried unanimously. That is going to be a really fun weekend, I think, for Hinton. Council, is there anything further for item 6.5 on the agenda this evening? Seeing nothing, we'll move to item 6.6, the resignation of Councillor Stuart Taylor. CO Panasic, did you have something to add here?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, as per the section 161 of the MGA, I have an obligation to publicly announce at the next meeting of council that effective Friday, May 16th, Councillor Stuart Taylor has submitted his resignation.
Thank you, CAO Panasic. Council, is there anything further for item 6.6 on the agenda this evening? Councillor Magoon.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Councillor Taylor through multiple councils. I want to thank him for his time and his effort and energy that have gone into all those successive years. I always relied and appreciated his hard work, especially when it came to research and not being afraid to take an opposing position and to debate things out thoroughly. So I wish him all the best and hope he enjoys time with his grandkids. And yeah, hopefully he enjoys it a little further up north.
Thank you, Councillor Magoon. And CO Panasic, typically when a councillor resigns, we would have a by-election. That's not going to be the case this time. Can you just elaborate as to why?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, if there is a resignation within a certain period of time prior to a general municipal election, then a by-election isn't required. So in this case, a by-election isn't required. And we will look to fill that seat the general election in October.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that clarification. And if there is nothing further for item 6.6, we will move on to section 7, information items. And we've got a couple of proclamations today. Okay, proclamation, Seniors Week 2025. In 2025, Seniors Week is June 2nd to 8th. Seniors Week has been recognized since 1986 to celebrate and recognize the contributions seniors make to enhance the quality of life in Alberta. Seniors Week was inspired by the vision of the late Alice Moden 39 years ago. Moden began a campaign to start a Seniors Day in Strathcona County that helped pave the way for this annual event. The week of festivities is kicked off with a provincial launch event co-hosted by the Alberta government and community organization. The town of Hinton is one of the municipalities that have officially declared Seniors Week 2025 to show appreciation and support for Alberta seniors since 2014. Whereas we recognize that seniors have made and continue to make many contributions to strengthen our province, our towns, our communities, and our daily lives. And whereas seniors are a vital part of our families, giving generously of their wisdom, experience, and love. And whereas more seniors are independent and active, and by challenging the stereotypes of aging, are leading the way for future seniors. And whereas a more positive attitude towards aging is creating new opportunities for new seniors. And whereas we must honor seniors for their skills, knowledge, experience, and leadership. And whereas it is appropriate that a special week be set aside to celebrate with seniors, now therefore, on behalf of the Council of the Town of Hinton, I, Mayor Nicholas Nissen, do hereby proclaim the week of June 2nd to the 8th, 2025 to be Seniors Week. I call upon everyone in our community and area to join in celebration of Seniors Week to recognize the valuable contributions of seniors. Join FCSS on Monday, June 2nd, 2025 at the Hinton Center, 965 Switzer Drive, to celebrate the Lifetime Achievement Awards and luncheon at 12 p.m. And we have another proclamation. Menstrual Health Day, May 28th, 2025. Whereas 1 in 4 Canadian menstruators have been forced to make the decision between purchasing menstrual products and purchasing other essentials such as food or rent within the last year, today we recognize that this is an issue that exists in our community throughout the province and across the country. Whereas Menstrual Health Day is a global day of action that was initiated by German nonprofit WASH United in 2014 to raise awareness and change how the world perceives menstruation. Whereas the date of May 28th was chosen to represent the average menstrual cycle, with the average duration of the cycle being 28 days, while the average bleeding period is 5 days. Whereas the Period Purse, a federally registered charity, strives to achieve menstrual equity by removing the stigma and barriers to education and access to period supplies in communities across Canada. Whereas a period-friendly Canada is a Canada where everyone can access the products, education, and infrastructure they need to achieve menstrual health. Working together, we can end the root causes of period poverty in our community. Now, therefore, on behalf of Council, I, Nicholas Nissen, Mayor of the Town of Hinton, do hereby proclaim May 28th, 2025 as Menstrual Health Day in Hinton. And that will take us to section 8 of the agenda this evening, correspondence. Council, are there any questions arising out of correspondence, or will we accept for information? Councillor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd move to accept this as information.
Thank you, Councillor Haas. Council, the motion on the floor is the council accept the information package or the correspondence package for information. Is there any discussion? Seeing nothing, we'll call the question. Councillors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. That will take us to section 9 of the agenda this evening. CAO Panasic, are there any notices of motion this week?
Thank you, Mayor. No, they're not.
Thank you, CEO Panasic. That will take us to section 10, reporting and council reports. We'll start with Councilor Ostashik.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week I attended a youth council meeting. Youth council presented to you today, so that was a lot of the work that they did at the meeting last week, was preparing that presentation for council, as well as putting together the mental health packages that they're going to be handing out to the youth in the community. Just my personal observation on that, I thought that was a great project for them to bring forward. There was a lot of, and I didn't realize this, there was a lot of stress among the young people in our community last summer after the Jasper wildfires. The Youth Council recognized that and wanted to do something to be able to help give young people in our community who are feeling those types of stresses access to some tools and resources that they can use to be able to deal with that. So I thought that was a great project idea, and kudos to them for all the work that they did in getting that together and putting them together and now distributing them to the young people in our community. And that's all I've got to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ostashik. Councilor Magoon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report.
Thank you, Councilor Magoon. Councilor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Only one thing to report. I got an opportunity to meet with, it's a project focus group when it comes to economic development, and it's a regional focus group that it was identified during the floods, and recognizing, of course, the impact of the floods on small businesses and other businesses. So from there, it grew, and they came to our community. They spent time with some of our business owners in the community, talking to them about wildfire preparedness and insurance and a number of different things. And the mayor and myself both were able to meet with them and, just talk to them about some of the struggles. And the main thing that was identified in our economic development, even though we may not have an EDO, but it's our housing is one of the most identified barrier in our community for economic development at this time, and also retaining the current businesses we have. But they're very open to having conversations and supporting, at a time when we do need support. I know they're working with Jasper as well and supporting them too. So that's all I have this week. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Councilor Chambers.
I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chambers. Councilor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too attended the Hinton Youth Advisory Committee meeting. I think Albert covered it quite sufficiently. I also attended the Arch meeting later in the day, and I found that meeting was very, very good, very productive. We were assigned different working groups, which I think is really beneficial to us. And I can see us gaining momentum within that committee. I will, on Thursday, attend a Community Futures West Yellowhead Zoom meeting. And also I'll be attending the Unity Summit Thursday and Friday. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Race. And for myself reporting, I was able to attend the first Mid-Sized Towns Mayor's Caucus meeting since council approved our membership in the caucus last month. The way that the caucus is going to work is at each caucus meeting, we're going to be getting a key messages report to bring back to council for or from the previous Midtown Mayor's Caucus meetings. And that is how we're supposed to communicate with council. So I'm sitting here on the key messages from the last meeting, which basically set the groundwork for the caucus to approach us at the MLC conference and grow the committee. So hopefully within a couple months here, I guess. The meetings are bi-monthly, so every 2 months. At the next meeting, I will have key messages from this month for council. And that is how that committee is going to work. That is all I have for reporting this evening, unless somebody has a question about that. We'll go to CAO reporting.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report today, but if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer.
All right, Counselor Hawes.
Yeah, I guess just have one question on an update. We applied for a number of grants and received some grants for fire smarting, but I'm just wondering where we're at with that, because we still have that $100,000 earmarked out of the safety reserve if needed, but any comments on that?
Say Panasic.
Thank you. Through the mayor to rest of council. I don't have the exact status on all of them, but I know that we have received 2. But I believe there is still, I'm looking over, I believe there's still 2 or 3 outstanding. We have applied for more since the last time we had spoken. But our plan is to bring forward that conversation about the that remaining placeholder with the $100,000 before, because there are more grants coming up and new continuous deadlines that have been authorized by FireSmart. So it's going to be a continuous process. So we're going to bring it forward sometime in the next couple months.
If I could follow up.
Go right ahead.
The mulching, the grant we did get for the mulching of an area, is that commenced? Is it, I'm not sure the status. Where are we at with that work?
Say Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the mulching or stage 1 of that project of the South Fire Guard is complete. Just the mulching and cleanup. There is still some funding left over, so we're working with the province right now to look at some projects out of scope and look at a few or further work in that area with the remaining dollars.
And if I may,
go right ahead.
I'm just also curious on the status of the highway bypass in the provinces, cleaning that area up, and have they made any headway on that, or have we seen any work out there yet?
Say Panasic.
Thank you, Mayor. To the rest of council, that was part of our mulching on that bypass area. I don't know how the funding worked with between the province and FireSmart, so I'd have to double check on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hawes. Councillor Race.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of reminders. On Saturday, May 24th, Rowan Recycling is having a big hazardous waste cleanup. So if you have paint or computers or any stuff like that, bring it to them. They're serving hot dogs, pop, hamburgers, so it'll be a really good day. And also next week is our annual spring cleanup. So if you have something that you want the town to come and pick up and take to the landfill, just give infrastructure a phone call. Your pickup day will be your garbage pickup day. So that's a pretty important week, I think. And I did want to ask about Switzer and Rob, how that capital project is coming along.
CEO Panasic. Ooh, Director McLaughlin.
Good afternoon, Council. The project is proceeding well. The lining portion of the project is actually complete. They still got backfilling and they have lots of cleanup work. There's still lots of work to be done. We anticipate the project to be wrapped up early June. But for those looking to be free of the traffic interruptions, we do have another project that'll be starting at the intersection at the bottom of the hill. So.
Well, thank you for that update, Director McLaughlin. Councillor Race, anything further?
I should say, just a friendly reminder, the speed limit truly is 30, not 46. Okay,
thank you, Councillor Race. Okay, Council, we'll move on to section 11 on the agenda this evening. And item 11.1, Council. Anybody? There we go. Councillor Hawes.
Move to adjourn.
Excellent. Council, the motion on the floor is that council adjourn at 4:44 p.m. Oh, councillors, please vote now. That motion is carried unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned. See, that was a good one to come and spectate on. Your luck continues, yeah. Yeah, last week we had a